What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and this is my movie review for the movie Triple Frontier, a Netflix release movie. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because the weekend that movies were out in theaters, this movie dropped, and there was nothing really to go see. I think Captive State, and just looked like trash, and so I was like, well, I'm only reviewing 2019 movies this year, something I decided I was going to do, only review 2019 movies. And since this movie dropped in 2019, even though it wasn't in theaters, it was on Netflix, I was like, you know what, more people have access to Netflix than they do maybe going to a theater, so I'll go ahead and review this, and I'll tell you that if you want to watch a movie that is on Netflix, it's called Triple Frontier, and you should go watch it. Is it good? Well, let's get to the review. And so, guys, the movie Triple Frontier is directed by J.C. Chandor. It stars Ben Affleck as Tom Davis, but all his friends call him Redfly. It also stars Oscar Isaac as Santiago Garcia, but all his friends call him Pope. It also stars Charlie Hunnam as William Miller, but all his friends call him Ironhead. It also stars Pedro Pascal as Francisco Morales, aka what they call him in the military is Catfish. That's his name. And finally, filling out the 5 people that are part of this heist movie, that's right, it's a heist movie, we'll get to that in a second, is Garrett Hedlund, who plays Ben Miller, aka, he doesn't have an aka. He's Ben Miller. So everybody else is an aka, but they're like, Ben, that's the guy. Which doesn't seem very good if you're using code names, but that's a whole other topic for a whole other movie. Looking at you, horrible bosses. 2. I think it was 2, right? Where they're using the code names on the radio. It's like, man, I wish you stopped using my name. It's good. Anyway, moving on. So, guys, the movie Triple Frontier is about Oscar Isaac's character wanting to do 2 things. One, there's a drug lord in a jungle who has a lot of money, like 70 million, a lot of money, and he's a bad guy. So Oscar Isaac is one of the only people that's still in the military, and he's like, all right, I want to find a way to take down this drug lord, but also we could just take all his money too, so I need an elite group. So he goes to the elite group that is Charlie Hunnam, that is Pedro Pascal, that is Ben Affleck, that is the other guy who doesn't even get a code name, so I can't remember his name off the top of my head, even though I just said it. It's a whole thing. But the rest of the group will not go without Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck is a struggling realtor. He's trying to sell houses now. He's trying to move on with his life. He's having a lot of problems with his wife. I'm not sure if he's his wife or ex-wife, but they're having problems, and his teenage daughter still loves him, but she's like, I don't really know if I like that anymore. So he's got a lot of issues in life, and he's not sure if he wants to just go off to a jungle and be part of a heist. But money has a way of working things out, and they offer him money to just go and check it out and give them an idea of what they could do. So Ben Affleck's like, all right, I'm Ben Affleck, I'll do it. So he goes, and they all go to the jungle. At this point, there's a lot of planning, a lot of detail going on. There's a few things going on behind the scenes that I'm just not going to get into because there's a lot of plot in this movie. And that leads us to the second act. And the second act is what this movie advertised. This movie advertised a heist. This movie advertised a military-style heist, something we haven't really seen before. We've always seen, like, you know, George Clooney and the gang, or when they did that Ocean's Other movie with the girls. You know, like a bunch of people coming together, best friends, like high five. These people aren't really best friends. They know each other from the military, but like they're like, I don't know if I can exactly trust you guys to do everything you're supposed to do, but I do want $70 million, so let's do this. And that's what this movie is. The best part of this movie is the middle of this movie, the second act of this movie, when they're pulling off the heist. Fantastic. I loved every second of the heist, from the instant they're waiting for the kids to leave so they know only the drug lord's home with all his money, to the instant they break into the compound, have to take out a bunch of dudes, steal the money. Things get crazier from there. They leave. It's awesome. That's what this movie was. That's what the trailer was for this movie. So when it happened in the middle of the movie, I was like, uh-oh, they're going to get into some silly shit. And they got into some silly shit. Because they did. Like, at this point, the third act of the movie, I could just call bad decisions. Because that's all it is. It's just one bad decision after another bad decision. Like, the first part of the movie, it wasn't, I don't know military people very well, so I don't know like how they act, and I was like, okay, maybe these guys are military dudes, I get it. The second act of the movie, I was like, okay, that's how I would assume military people would act, like the way they're crossing each other off in the house and making sure that all the rooms are clear and deciding how much money to take, like, that was cool. But then, like, the third act of this movie, when they're the journey home, we'll call it, bad decisions, aka the journey home, that's what we could call it. They make poor decisions, and the movie really spirals down from there. I mean, if you like movies with disappointing endings, then you won't be disappointed. But if you're like most people and you don't like disappointing endings, then you could turn this movie off like when they get in the helicopter and be like, man, it's nice that they made it home. that part of the movie, guys, I can't really spoil too much of the third act because I don't want to give you spoilers, and there are a lot of spoilery things that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about things I liked and things I disliked about the movie. And the things I liked about the movie were, well, I already said the middle portion of the movie. When they're doing the heist, this movie's excellent. If this movie was more about that, or that scene was longer, or they just found a way to do more things like that, that would have been awesome, because they looked like a team, they looked like an elite group, they looked like a group you wouldn't want to mess with. I loved that about this movie. The acting in this movie, I mean, you've got actors like Oscar Isaac from Star Wars and other things, and you've got Ben Affleck from, well, I'm just going to say from Batman, but I know I get a lot of slack from that because he's in a lot of things. I understand. You got Pedro Pascal. What I know him from is Narcos. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. I probably have. He's a bigger name than just Narcos, but you know, you had Pedro Pascal. You had Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, and he was in that awesome Pacific Rim movie. I love those actors, and I think they can act. The last guy, again, I don't know his name. I don't really know where I know him from, if I know him from anywhere, so I'm just going to cross him off the list. My point is, 4 of the main actors in this movie can act, and so the acting was there for the majority of this movie. There were times where I was like, okay, again, my negatives, and I'm just going to jump into negatives here, kind of go all over the place because that's kind of how this movie did it anyway, but my negatives about this movie were the last act and everything about it, including the acting. From several of them, it just seemed like they just kind of broke down. Like, I'm not, this isn't a situation where the actors didn't want to be there, but I just felt like they didn't have much direction. I feel like, so you know how in comedy sometimes they'll let comedians like, okay, we're going to let you improv this scene a couple times and we'll see which way we like it best. Go ahead and do your thing. But this isn't a comedy. This isn't an improv situation. This is like, these are a group of people that definitely need to be directed. And I don't know if JC just kind of fell off. That's the director. I'm not talking about the big guy. I'm just talking about the director. My point is, I don't know what happened at the end of this movie, but every decision made was a bad decision. Now, is that part of the writing? Yes. Is that part of the directing? Yes. Is that part of the acting? Yes. It is all of those things. Like, this movie just breaks down, and it really disappointed me. Another negative thing I'm going to say about this movie is how they treat Ben Affleck in this movie. Like, it's kind of crazy to see where Ben Affleck's career has gone. Like, from where he started, like, the good guy that can't get hit by a bullet to now. I just look at The Town and then watch this movie and you're like, wow, Ben Affleck has taken a hit in his career lately. Like, he really has. I'm not going to spoil what they do with him in this movie, but it's disappointing, to say the least. So guys, with all that being said, I got to go ahead and give the movie this rating. That's right, I really have no idea what Triple Frontier means. But seriously, I don't. Like, they're fighting 3 fronts? Because they're not. I mean, no, maybe 2 max. Maybe themselves. Are they the 3rd frontier that they're fighting? It's Triple Frontier. I assume that's what it means, but I don't know. So, I'm lost from beginning to end in this movie. Again, one moment. That was awesome. But there it is. And guys, that's my movie review. If you enjoyed this movie review, hit the like button. If you want to share this movie review with your friends, make sure you do that by hitting the share button. Guys, if you've seen this movie on Netflix, because it's a Netflix movie and you have easier access to it, and you want to comment your thoughts on the comment section down below, please do that, because I love commenting back and forth with you guys. P.S. Corona. I wore the James 23 shirt. It says Los Angeles Basketball on the bottom. I wanted you to know, just so you're aware. And finally, guys, with all that being said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that so that you can see more videos and more content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.